Going on, everybody? It's your boy Adam. Figured I'd give you an update tour of the new place, the new tiny house, the bigger tiny house. Just give you an update on how things are going. I cleaned up enough that I'm not embarrassed to show the place to people, which it never gets that dirty. But the dishes are done and the water bottles are filled and, the general this and that's are taken care of. I'm never going to be completely 100% done with chores. There's always going to be something. So, as you walk over here in what will be someday my bicycle workbench workshop area, I got a bucket of clothes to fold and put away from last week's laundry, and tomorrow will be laundry day, so whatever. It's just, those are the things that never really end. But this is one thing that's bothering me, this extension cord going to this power strip that just kind of floats in the air, that goes to this other power strip that's kind of stuck there, and then cables and stuff going up to a TV. But you can see how the TV is mounted. I just took and got a clamp mount with a extendable arm that attaches to the back of the TV. And then if I really do need to get back here, if I start stacking up storage totes to where they end up going up above the TV there, I can swing the TV out of the way to get to those easily. But if I just back up and show you the whole room here, you'll see that everything is unpacked. Everything's unpacked. I don't have any boxes of stuff to unpack anymore. Everything has been figured out. I decided to use this mismatched box here as a laundry tub for now. So that's either going to have clean clothes or dirty clothes in it. That's probably just going to have clean clothes in it until it's empty. I don't know, because I've got another thing here for dirty laundry. But everything's put away. So everything's sorted. This one tub down here with the red lid is the only storage tub, along with this big one, that has stuff in it. All these other ones are empty. And that red one is not full. And that one, though, the big one is for empty bags, empty backpacks, empty bags, empty bags. And I do have a sleeping bag in there as well that needs to go in this mesh bag where I keep my dirty clothes is, the mesh bag where I keep my dirty clothes is supposed to be holding that sleeping bag, but this has been my dirty clothes bag since the day I became homeless, and I just haven't replaced it yet. So you can see my washing machine and how it fits in here. I wanted it to fit sideways here between the water heater and the sink. Sideways, it's about 1.5 inches, it may be 2 inches too wide to fit that way. And that drove me nuts on the first day. But when I put it in here like this, it's really not that bad. It doesn't really get in the way. If I get one of those dividers, those room dividers, to hide this ghetto ass water heater, it kind of hides the water heater a little bit. It does kind of look cramped, and it's bad feng shui or whatever. I just don't like it, but overall, it's not really in the way, and it's not driving me crazy. But I got, things are getting put away. Things are getting better. I got my luxury spa bathtub. It needs to be cleaned again. Soft Scrub does a pretty good job. I haven't done it in a couple of weeks, but it's clean enough. It's not horrible. That's something I'll have to get I'll have to take all this stuff out of here and just give it a scrub down but I've just got other chores to do, and it's just not that high on my list right now. I did soak last night with the Epsom salts, the baking soda, the eucalyptus oil, and I feel so much better today than I have in the last couple of days. That's important. So whoever was the one who suggested I get the Epsom salts, you're like my hero, because I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking about taking hot baths. I got a nice place to put my scale, so it's cool. Everything's just kind of, it feels nice now. It feels like I got a nice place that's just clean and organized and everything. And so now my next task for the long term to get organized is to go through every one of these bags on this shelf. That's photography gear mostly. Go through everything on this shelf, bags and everything that's in there. I've got clothes that I'll probably never wear, but I just put them all out. There's only one or two things in that storage tub, but all the clothes that I have fit on these shelves. Some I'll never wear. So if a number of months go by and I haven't worn this or that, I'll just get rid of it. If I know I'm never going to wear it again, there may be something that I keep because I just, I have a nice suit. I don't wear suits anymore, but maybe I'll have to. So, it makes sense to keep a suit. But my next real thing is to go through this desk, and those 4 drawers are completely disorganized and just full of all kinds of stuff. And I've got this file box here and a little fire safe down there, and the means to organize what's in this desk here. And then I'll have empty drawers in my desk that I can organize with. That's where I'm going to start. Got some good coffee stocked up. My water bottle, my water situation's tight. Everything's just coming together, and it's comfortable now. And I don't feel like overwhelmed anymore when I'm in the home and I'm just sitting around, and I can relax. I've been able to focus more on my work over the last couple of weeks, especially since I believe it was Sunday, just this last Sunday. So today is Thursday. So 4 days ago is when I had 2 or 3 boxes tucked into this little area here, this open space. And I had just a pile of stuff to figure out what to do with, and I got it all put away. And I was able to take one of the empty tubs and put it under the house here. And maybe I'll use that as it's right by the front door, but kind of under the house. And so if I get Amazon deliveries or whatever, I might just put a sign on the front of the house. I've got a little mailbox on the front of the house. I'll show you that. But that little box that's under the house might be a good thing to have Amazon deliveries go into or whatever. Maybe I'll just put a little sign here on the front door. So you can take a look at that. You can see that. Got my mailbox. Got my little bin under the thing. Got my bicycle parking stand. And so it's coming along. And I'm happy with it. I'm cool. I feel comfortable. I can make food. I've been cooking like a motherfucker for sure. I've been making some bomb-ass burgers. I'm still missing all kinds of shit for cooking, especially in the oven. I got no casserole dishes. I've got no baking pans. I've got nothing in that regard. The only thing I've been putting in the oven are frozen pizzas directly on the oven rack that I'll spruce up and add extra stuff to. But I mean, everything's coming along, and I feel comfortable, and the more organized and the better my space gets around me, the better I feel. Just something stupid like finally getting an extension cord to fix that dumbass thing would make me feel a whole lot better. Even if I have to run a cord from there around the door jamb and be back and behind the wire shelf unit and then plug everything into that. That's fine. There are two outlets. I don't even know if you can see them. No, they're blocked by clothing, but there's two outlets. There's an outlet behind this wire shelf, and there's one behind here. But the landlord put a solid outlet cover over them. But when I took the covers off to see what was in there one day, because I remembered seeing outlets one of the days that I was here looking at the place before I rented it, he just went and covered up the outlets instead of making them work. And I plugged something into one of the outlets to see if it would work and to see if these light switches would have anything to do with it. And whatever I plugged into that outlet didn't work, but that doesn't mean that it's a dead outlet. It might just be a bad outlet. I've had outlets go bad. That's common for an outlet to just stop working for no reason. You can just get a new wall outlet, swap it out, should be good to go. But I don't even know if there's a live connection to that outlet. And if there's not, then there's no reason for me to mess around with it. So I got to get a tester. And they make these real basic bitch testers that you just stick in a outlet. It'll tell you if there's electricity flowing or not. You can hold it up to a wall near an outlet, and it'll tell you if there's a live wire going through the wall. They're handy. Definitely handy for a home electrician situation like that. But, these are all things that I'm not in a huge hurry for. Just fixing the ghetto extension cord job that I have going on here would be a big up. That would take my my OCD level down a lot of notches. But I can just chill here in this chair. I would like to put a couch here. So one of the next furniture things I want to do, I want to put a love seat basically in this space. I have curtains picked out and curtain rods for these windows that are the right size, and they'll look really nice in here. I don't really care about curtains for the window back there because that fence keeps people from looking in, and there's really nobody back there except for a neighbor that's sometimes mowing her lawn. It's not a big deal. There's nothing to stop me from taking a shower and feeling uncomfortable. Same with the kitchen. I don't really care about the lack of curtains in the kitchen because I like the natural light. I go all day without ever turning the lights on in here because the natural light just feels good. I want to get some plants. Some small plants I can put in here. I want to get a Venus flytrap or 2 or 3 of those. That's a good trap for, if you get, I have a few little fruit flies because the garbage can, you can see there's a crack in the door jamb there. And so pretty much anything that wants to come in here from the insect kingdom can come slithering in through that door jamb. I'm going to get some weather stripping to replace the shitty weather stripping there, but the door isn't quite, didn't do a great job on that, as you can see. The light's just coming through, bugs can just come right through. I had a few fruit flies hanging out at the garbage can and they were getting on my nerves yesterday. Best way to get rid of those is take the trash out. Even if your trash can's not full, take out the trash within a day. The fruit flies don't have anything to eat, they're gone. They don't live that long. So that's the quickest way to get rid of fruit flies. But I'm going to get some of them little traps for the fruit flies and set them here and maybe on the windowsill in the other room or in the bathroom, like kind of away from where I like to relax. Maybe set one here. I don't know. The decorative ones that look like a little piece of fruit. And that'll get rid of any that are lingering around. And those are pretty good. They work pretty good. Oh, man, what else? That's pretty much it. Just keeping it simple. I want to get, furniture-wise, like I said, a love seat. I'm going to get a full-size bed. Full-size bed will come out to right about here where my foot is. I've measured that out. It'll fit in that space pretty good. A love seat will fit in there good. That little end table can, whatever. If I have to get a different end table to go between the bed and a love seat, that's fine. I'll take this chair, put it somewhere else, put it outside. It's an outdoor chair. This little table, I don't give a shit. It'll just go where it goes. And the TV here, I wanted it to be centered in between those shelves, but the arm isn't long enough. And I didn't feel like sending it back. So I have a little bit of leeway if I want it to be centered and the love seat is too far this way. I can move the clamp from that post to that post, and then I can adjust the TV. I do have some leeway to adjust the TV from side to side because this clamp back here has joints that will allow you to fine-tune the position of that TV. I just can't move it over far enough to be exactly in the middle. But right now, it don't even bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. I thought it would, but it doesn't. My OCD doesn't seem to care about it. But there are some issues with this TV. It's running the Android TV. These smart TVs are just dumb. Every single smart TV I have ever seen or used is a piece of shit. They don't work. They're buggy. The software is garbage. It's no different with this TV. So the thing I'm going to do to fix that, the Amazon Fire Stick, little tiny Amazon Fire Stick that you plug into the HDMI port on the back of your TV will fix all those problems because those work really good. Every time I've ever used an Amazon Fire TV device, they're smooth, they work good. They'll glitch out once in a while, but these smart TVs with the shit all built into the TV itself, I have never seen one that wasn't a piece of shit. I've never used an Amazon Fire TV, smart TV, with the Amazon Fire TV software built in. So maybe those would be good, maybe. But the problem with these devices is the companies make them, they sell them, and then they don't give a fuck about updating their buggy software because they've sold all the TVs. Why bother having our Indian programmers fix all the bad code? We're just going to make a new batch of TVs and sell those. So they do a really shitty job writing all the code and the software for the TV because they're just trying to save money and it just has to barely work. And then they sell them. And then there's like no incentive to ever update that software for those TVs unless people are returning the TVs to the store in mass because the software is so bad that the TV's unusable. But in this case, I bought this thing used. It glitches out all the time. It's a piece of shit in terms of the software, but the TV itself is fine. I was originally just going to get a monitor because you can buy monitors that are that size that have absolutely nothing except ports on the side. You can't get TV stations over the air. There's no way to hook an antenna up to it, etc. And so those monitors can be more than a TV though in terms of cost. So I was open-minded. I was thinking about just getting a monitor that big and plugging a Fire Stick into it. So they're like $35 for a Fire Stick. So I don't know. I'm not in a big hurry for it, but that'll be another upgrade. And then I'm going to get a workbench that'll take up most of the space between my bicycle work stand and the side of the fridge. It won't come out past the fridge. In fact, it won't even come out as far as that collapsible table comes out. And then this whole floor across the whole stretch of this room here will be coin grip rubber flooring, thick rubber flooring. And the reason I'm going to use that is so that any chemicals that drip off of my bicycles when I'm working on them can be cleaned up really quick with a rag and some paper towels and maybe some spray. And then none of that stuff will get on the floor and ruin the floor. And I'll have plenty of room to work on the bicycles and do that stuff without having to worry about it. And if I have any situation where I have to worry about overspray getting on the wall here behind the door, I'll just hang a couple of big posters up with cheap plastic frames that look nice but are cheap. And they're just there to be able to wipe off anything that gets on them in terms of a spray, like maybe a couple of Star Wars posters or a couple of Tour de France posters or something like that, or maybe some of my own photos. Just whatever I can do cheap for that. I want to get plants. I want to get some of my photography hung up and just make the place feel a little bit more like home. I want to hang up some shelves here and some hooks and kind of have like a baker's rack thing mounted on the wall here to give me more room to hang pots and pans and cooking stuff, and because I don't have a lot of cabinet and drawer space, so there's plenty of room here. I could put like a magnet thing that you stick your knives to, like whatever, but I'm not, once again, it's just not, these things aren't really that big of a priority for me right now. The place is functional. A bed would probably be my top priority right now, like being able to get a better night's sleep. Plus, the bed frame that I'm thinking of getting is tall enough that these two storage units can slide under the bed. And then I'll have even more, I'll have my place more organized and stuff will be even more out of the way. I may even be able to get rid of all of these storage tubs completely and have them all tucked under the bed. If there's enough room for that. There might be. I kind of measured it out. It kind of seems like it'll work, but you never really know until you get the thing. But either way, it'll be a nice change. Even my little clothing bin there where I just throw all my clean clothes before I fold them would go under the bed at that point and out of the way, out of sight, out of mind. It won't be just sitting somewhere. But it's pretty cool. It's where it's at. It's where I'm at right now. Everything's coming together. I want to put some shelving in here. And I thought they make these spice racks and different racks that will clamp to the top of a door and then mount to the back of a door. And they're pretty cheap. And I thought that would be perfect for here in the bathroom because I could just stack all kinds of stuff up on those wire shelving unit that clamps to the door. I think they cost like $30. I don't know. They're not that expensive. And that will help me just get, because I don't have a medicine cabinet. I want to get a mirror. I don't have a mirror. This is my biggest mirror right now. A little, if I can even open the thing. Got a little flip top mirror. That's the biggest mirror I've got right now. So, I mean, I can shave. It's not the end of the world, but I don't have like an actual mirror. I'd probably be able to put a full-length mirror here going up and down so I can see what I look like if I'm getting dressed up or something. Take that thing off the wall, hang a mirror. It's like get something that covers that up because I don't feel like painting, and just kind of go from there. So I got to get caulk. The bug control problem. You saw the front door. And then there's things like this. I got all these gaps where these pipes come in and out of the floor that they never bothered to seal up. So that's like an open invitation for anything that wants to crawl up in here to come in. I've sprayed the shit out of that area with sprays. And so if anything does decide to come up in here through those holes, it's not going to live much past that. There's a couple of those under the sink up there that I got to close up. And then there's just bad craftsmanship when it comes to these lights. And there's just gaps like that, like right here. they decide to cut a hole, and then they don't get a plate that's big enough to cover the hole. So now I got to figure out, like, okay, how do I want to deal with that? I've sprayed, and all these little nooks and crannies that things can get in and out of are going to kill whatever comes in and out of them, but it might take 4 or 5 hours for the thing to drop. And then you got whatever the hell is going on up here. Just who knows what the fuck that's up there for. That looks like it could be some sort of one of these recessed lights. I don't know. I've got a light bulb that's dead, and these lights are a pain in the ass. I don't like those. I like the way they look until you have to go and replace them. They suck because you have to buy. They're expensive, and they're a pain in the ass to replace compared to a regular light bulb. I gotta pick up some light bulbs because I just don't even have enough light bulbs for this place. So just little things, cooking things, kitchen things. I'm missing so much crazy stuff that you would just normally have if you're a 49-year-old guy who cooks. My prior home before I was arrested, I couldn't go to a kitchen store and find something that would be useful to me because I really wasn't missing anything. Like, there was nothing that I could think of for my kitchen that I didn't already have or would even want or need. And I don't go out and buy all the crazy kitchen gadgets. I mean, I can get by with one knife. Standard chef knife, that pretty much covers it. That's the cheapest one they make. It was like $10 at Target. That's the only knife I need. Like, for I like maybe 2 or 3 knives out of a butcher's block that you buy, the fancy butcher's block that's got all the crazy knives, and maybe some steak knives. Getting a set of steak knives for if you're going to serve steak to your guests. But here in the Joe Biden economy, fuck. When's the next time I'm going to cook a steak? I don't even know. I'm not a millionaire, so, eating steak, that's something I used to do back in the day. I don't know if that's going to happen. But I think I'll just stop the tour now. You've seen it. You've seen how I've updated. You've seen how things are coming together. It's moving along. It's a little bit, things are a little bit slow. But each day, each week, I can look at it and say it's better than the week before. So I'm going to sit down here and just go over whatever I have to talk about. And then I'm going to get back to my business. So that's where I'm at. The place is coming along, and I'm cool with it. I have a few things to get done. I got to check in with probation. It's this website I got to log into and fill out. It doesn't take long to do. What takes a long time is getting the things together that I have to give them. And I should do it today. It's due on the 5th, but I work on the 5th. And tomorrow's the 4th of July, and they have a habit of that website crashing on weekends and holidays. So today's the day. I don't really need to do much, but I want to get some more work done for my clients before I do it. I'm taking a break to do this video, and then I'll get back to work for a few hours, and then I will, sometime before 5, maybe around 4 o'clock, I'll be like, all right, stop what I'm doing, do the probation nonsense, get it out of the way, and just be good with it. And take a look at this. Let's see what they have to say today. I'm going to do a live reading of, well, first, before I do that, let me look at my calendar. July 10th. If this video comes out before July 10th, I'll do a live stream, 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time. That'll be 5, what is it? Math. 7 p.m., 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'll leave it a 2 window open. If nobody shows up and it's just me talking to the camera, it'll be like one of these videos where I'll find something to talk about it. If nobody shows up, fine. If people come and watch and interact, then it'll be like a nice, everybody show up, everybody grab a beer or coffee or whatever, and we'll all have a good time. Oh, it sucks. It's empty, and that's my second mug. I can't do another mug. I'm already feeling a little bit of a headache. I need to get glass mason jars. And the cheapest place to get those that I'm aware of is Target. And because certain things are wicked expensive on Amazon, like 2-3 times more than what it would cost at a store nearby. So you gotta kind of know. You have to know, like, you gotta do your homework. That's all I'm gonna say. The half-gallon mason jars are like $18 for a 6-pack, $12 to $18 for a 6-pack at the Target that I used to go to, and they're like $30 for a 6-pack on Amazon. $25 to $30 for a 6-pack. They're like twice as much on Amazon. Certain things that don't make any sense, but it is what it costs what people are willing to pay. So July 10th, it's a Thursday. Thursday for me is a good day. Today's Thursday, a week from today. Thursday's a good day for me to do a live stream because I don't have to go to work the next day. The only thing I have to do, another thing I have to do today is cold brew coffee. I have to get 2 more of these coffee filters from Amazon. Probably like $15. Just another thing on my list of things that I need to do, so that I can do 3 gallons at a time instead of 2 gallons at a time, and it will help me a lot, because right now I have to make coffee about once a week, but I usually don't get a full week between brewings. If I had just 2 more, if I could do 1 more gallon at a time, I could go maybe 10 days without having to brew coffee and refill, and then I would have more capacity to do teas, tea and things like that. So, but I made some more of the dulce de leche creamer using basically the base of a tres leches cake. Tres leches, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but you know what I'm talking about. The tres leches cake mixture is the base, and then you mix some the dulce de leche caramel with it, or a million other flavorings. You can go all kinds of directions from there in terms of flavoring the stuff, and it's delicious. It's delicious in your coffee. It's natural-ish, way more natural than the bottles. I could read the bottle ingredients of the pre-made International Delight coffee creamers that they put in the fridge section at the grocery store, and I could read you the ingredients that are in the coffee creamer that I'm making now, and you'd be like, oh yeah, it's way better. Way better. So, that's pretty cool. Another bill got paid. Yay, I have less money. But I knew that was coming. So I did the math yesterday, because I just paid this freaking ridiculous rent bill, and which was rent plus a half month's rent, and it tapped me out. But I sent an invoice out yesterday, and it's already on the way here. It's already in the mail as I speak. And I'm not in a gigantic hurry. I'm not like in a panic mode, But I did the math and I looked at everything. I updated all of my, I reconciled my accounts. This is one of those tasks that takes me 1 to 2 hours every week to sit down and do it. Every week it takes about 1 to 2 hours. The longer I go without doing it, obviously, the longer it takes to get caught up. Back before I was arrested, if I went on like a 10-day road trip and came back all exhausted and went another week, if I went 3 weeks without updating that kind of stuff, I got like 3 to 4 hours in front of me of going through and updating all of that stuff. But then at the end of after doing it, I would be like, okay, I know how much money I spent. I know how much my trip cost. I know exactly how much I spent on gas, food, everything else. I know how much money I have. I know what my bills are. I know what's going to be left over. I could have that peace of mind. And when I do this, I always end up with peace of mind at the end of it because I always think things are worse than they are. And so yesterday when I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, yeah, right. I'm tapped out, really, really tapped out. But at the end of July, I only need to pay rent. I don't need to pay another security deposit. And my expenses for the month are a few $100 in the bills that I pay. And I'm really, really tapped out. As of today, I'm about $1,000 off. But after my invoice gets paid, plus I've got 2 paychecks coming from the bakery this month, plus I'm getting a little bit of money from Google, and whatever else happens, I'll actually have about $700 left at the end of the month. After rent is paid and all of my recurring monthly bills are paid. And then, let's say now I've still got 3 weeks I've got to this week plus 3 more weeks to do freelance jobs. And so I could be in a position at the end of this month to not only have enough money to get that car shipped that the guy wants to have me send over here. I have to pay for the shipping, but I might have enough to do that and have plenty of money left over to feel like comfortable and get my groceries and all the stuff and maybe even get a bed. I mean, it just depends on how much I can buckle down. But the buckle down gets a little better each week. I get a little bit more buckled down I've been here for, let's see, I'll just look. How long have I been here? I figured that out yesterday. I've been in this place for, let me look here, 34 days. I've been in this place for 34 days. 34 days, a month, and a few days. And things are getting better every day, every week. So, it gets easier and easier as time goes by. Whereas living in that fucking dump that I was living in, after the first couple of months there, things started to, the thing is, financially, after the first 2 months in that tiny house, things were starting to look good. And I felt like I was good to go. And then 3 days into the 3rd month, all hell broke loose. And so, I don't know. Let me take a look at, now that I'm curious about that, I'm going to take a look here. And yeah, the tiny home was flagged for removal. And it's not relisted. So he doesn't even have that place listed for rent. Maybe somebody moved into it. Maybe he got somebody to move in and he didn't need to relist the ad. So I don't know. We'll see. I have a feeling that shit is going to... so it's July, August. I'd say by the first week of September, it's going to show back up at a reduced price. Somewhere. Either on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. He doesn't show any photos of the inside of it. In his Craigslist ad, he only had the outside of it. He would not show any pictures of the inside of it on his ad. And I think that's why people probably went and looked at the place and were like, holy fuck, what a dump. And went and flagged it, because he should have posted pictures of the inside of it, whatever it is, so that people know what they're coming to look at. He really kind of was deceptive in the ad. When you go and look at it, when I went and looked at it, I was like, fuck. Like, it was way worse than I thought it was going to be. But the price was right. The price was good. The convenience factor, I was really down to a week. I had to get a place before the end of that week, or I was a week away from having to have a place. February 1st was on a Saturday, and I had to have a place, and I was down to the last week, and I couldn't find shit. Now I'm better at it. I'm better at hunting now. I did a much better job looking for a place and finding good places to go look at this last time around. So I'm more comfortable. If something were to happen, I know that I know how to work the tools a little better than I did this last time. So I'm a little more comfortable, but this place has been good so far, except for some small problems. So let's see, what did I want to do? Watched a little more Star Wars last night. I took a salt bath to rest my weary bones and my aching muscles. Oh my God, after I got done with my bath, and even during the bath, muscle tension in my neck, shoulders, legs was just like, my whole back was just popping all night long, because muscles that wouldn't let go, that were all tense, finally just... And I've been feeling it today. Like, I don't feel anywhere near as bad as I felt yesterday and the day before. Felt great. Got a really good system in place for that. But I watched a little bit more of the Clone Wars series. I'm up to 69 things out of 419. But keep in mind, this Clone Wars thing goes on for a long time. There are tons of episodes of this Clone Wars show. There's like 7 seasons. How many seasons? Seven seasons. There might even be some episodes I never saw. No, but there has to be. A 6th season. So there's 7 seasons. There's about 20 episodes in every season, and it's 7 seasons long, and the episodes are about 20 minutes apiece. So it's going to be a while before I get to the end of this shit. And then there's a Clone Wars movie and 3D animated movie that went with it. So that's a lot. And I'm still in the timeline 21 years before Luke Skywalker blew up the Death Star. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff left. But I did notice more little details and subtle things, especially watching these things in chronological order. It makes a ton more sense. Like, whoever put these things in order, because the episodes aren't in order. They bounce around like a Quentin Tarantino movie, and it doesn't make sense. But you watch them in the order that whoever the fuck did this, somebody put them all in chronological order. And I'm like, this is totally making sense now. Everything, you bounce from like an episode, and generally I'm watching season 3 right now, but every now and then it bounces back to an episode in season 1. And whatever happened in that episode in season 3 was like the day before the thing in episode 1. And you're like, oh, now I get it. Now I get it. This happened first, and then this happened. It's weird that they didn't. But I guess, when they were just... I don't know what they were thinking when they made this series, but they didn't put shit in order when they made the series. They just kind of bounced around, and each episode's almost like a self-contained thing, but then groups of episodes, like 3 to 5 episodes, might be a plot beginning to end split over 5 episodes, but the season itself is 20 episodes. But they're all 20 minutes long, so 20 times 20, 400 divided by 60. So you're looking at about like 6 hours per season. And for like Andor, there might be like 6 episodes in a season that are about an hour each. So it's about, the season themselves are from one to the next is about the same amount of time. But I can get like maybe 2 or 3 of these in a night, and then I'm just like, I don't want to watch it anymore. So like last night, but it's interesting. But the little fortune cookie thing that popped up at the beginning of the episode kind of falls into things I talk about on the channel, and it said, a failure in planning is a plan for failure. So a failure in planning is a plan for failure. And I talk about this a lot. Like, you should always have a plan. If I go out on a photography, if I take my camera gear and go out to take photos, I generally have a plan of what I want to take a photo of. And sometimes that meticulous planning comes down to being at the right place at the exact right time. I was in St. Louis nursing a broken arm, and I couldn't ride my bike, and I had to cut. I was going to ride out to Utah and drive out there and go mountain biking. That was done. That wasn't happening now. So what I did was I decided to do tourist trap stuff while I was still in St. Louis for a day, and then either go back to my hotel room and then start camping. I had a whole plan for how to enjoy my trip even though I had a broken arm. And so I sat in this hotel room the day before, and I'm like, if it's a sunny day tomorrow, I can go up into the Gateway Arch. And from the top of the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, you can look out these windows and you see the whole city. And if I can get to so I used a couple apps to figure this out. There's an exact time where the shadow of the Gateway Arch will be exactly over the city symmetrically. It won't be leaning to one side or leaning to the other side, but you've got like a 30-second window. And I figured out when that window was. And it meant that I was going to have to get to that place right when they open and be one of the first people to go up in the washing machine elevator thing that they take you up to the top in. But once you get to the top, you can stay up there as long as you want. There's no, they don't herd you around. You get a certain time to get in the elevator, and then when you get to the top, you could stay up there all day if you want. They don't care. So I knew I'd have to get up there by a certain time, but also would have to get up there so that I can get the center spot in the center window away from all the tourists and give it enough time so that the herd of tourists that was there before me wander off and go to get on the down elevator that takes them back down. And I did it. I got up there with 10 minutes to spare, which allowed me to patiently wait for the tourists that were all up in the window looking out at the city. I didn't have to be like, excuse me, or I didn't have to act like a dick. Because I'm like, herds of tourists, they got other shit. They're not going to want to stay up here for the next 3 hours or whatever. They're going to go out, they're going to look out the window for 5 minutes, take their cell phone pictures, and get the fuck out. So they were gone. I get up to the window and I have my own space, and I had 5 minutes before the shadow was going to be in the exact spot. And if you really pay attention, you can see the sun move across the sky. You can see the shadows move. So I did this whole panorama of the entire city, but I had to take it in chunks and stitch it together in Photoshop. So I got all the side shots, all the outer parts of that the shadow wasn't going to be affected by, and I got all the bracketed shots of bang, 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 and then it's like 3 layers tall. And imagine like like a bingo card, but 3 levels deep. So I had the sky, 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 the middle, 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 and then the lower, like right down at I shot from. You can look straight down from the Gateway Arch and see you can see the sidewalk directly below you. So I had like one of the bases of the Gateway Arch in the photo to the left, boom, 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 all the way to the other base of the arch. And then the next level, boom, 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 all the way across. And then the next level, all the way across, maybe 4 levels tall, and then boom, 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 all the sky. And so now I've got the whole picture that I can use tools in Photoshop. It does a good job of putting all of that together into one photo. It's a huge file, but it makes it, I could print this thing out the size of a wall and it would be sharp and detailed when you get up close to it. So that's the cool thing about it. So then I just had to wait until the shadow was in the right spot, and then just take all of the pictures that have the shadow in them so that I can use those. And then there were some other things, like after the shadow left or the shadow started to tilt, I went and redid all of the ancillary photos, just so that, because the lighting changes dramatically from 1 minute to the next, and so I wanted to make sure that the sky, that I'm gonna have what I need to put this image together. And so that was an example of a meticulous plan that went according to plan, exactly to plan, down to a 30-second window. I had to find I had to drive down there. I had to find a place to park. I ended up parking in a place where I could have got my vehicle towed, but there were other people there, and there was no way that I could find another place to park and get to the place on time. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna park here. We'll see what happens. The funny thing is, when I was up in the arch, I could look out the window and be like, oh, my Jeep's still there, perfect. And I could see that there were other vehicles around me parked there illegally as well. I'm like, I should be all right, because cities are kind of weird. Like cities, like Pittsburgh has lots of neighborhoods where you're not allowed to park, but you could park there all fucking day and nobody's gonna bother you. And there are other neighborhoods where you're not allowed to park, and if you show up, or you're supposed to feed a parking meter, and if you show up and you could be in that spot for 15 minutes, come back out and have a parking ticket on your window. And then there's other neighborhoods where there could be a sign saying you will be towed if you park here, and you could leave your vehicle parked there for 3 days and not get towed. And so cities are weird. Every city in America's got that kind of shit going on. You just have to kind of know. Well, I didn't really know St. Louis, but I was like, let's just see how this goes. If I get towed, fuck it. I'll have to deal with it. But I didn't. Didn't even get a parking ticket. But when I was up in the top of the arch, after I took all the photos that I wanted to take, I'm looking out the window and I'm like, oh, my Jeep is still there. Great, awesome. And so I got like the deluxe package for the Gateway Arch tour. So I did all the stuff at the top of the arch. I got there on time. I got to beat the lines, because there's a huge line that forms every day at this thing. If I got stuck in that line, I would have gotten fucked and I wouldn't have even been able to get up to the top. So I had to be one of the first people in line that day just to have a chance to do this. And but when I got to the ticket counter, they're like, do you want the deluxe package? And you get to go up to the top of the Gateway Arch, you get to sit and watch a movie, and then you get to go on a paddle boat tour up and down the Mississippi River. And I'm thinking, at first I was just like, I want to get up there, get my pictures, and get the fuck out of here so that my Jeep doesn't get towed. But when the woman behind the counter was like, it's only this much, and you get to do it, I'm like, fuck it, you only live once. I got a broken out. What the fuck else am I gonna do today? Fuck it. I'm gonna do it. I'm doing this. So I'm at the top of the Gateway Arch. I'm looking down. I'm like, oh, my Jeep's still there. That's fucking awesome. Cool. I went about my business. I went and watched this hour-long movie in some movie theater about them building the Gateway Arch. And I'm like, well, that was cool. I wander around the museum. They got this big museum at the bottom of it. I'm like, yeah, this is cool, because I had to wait for the time to get on the paddle boat tour. And so on my way to the paddle boat dock, I passed my Jeep. My Jeep is still there. There's no parking ticket on the window. I'm like, okay, cool. Get on the paddle boat, wait a while, the paddle boat goes by. I'm like, oh, my Jeep's still there, perfect. And so I'm on the paddle boat. We go way up the fucking river and come back, and I got all these cool photographs and really cool experience. And it was good for, like, I was nursing a broken arm and I could barely do anything. So this was fun to do all the old people stuff that you would do if you're in town, because I would have never done this otherwise. And so it was like, I'm just making the best out of a shitty day. And when the paddle boat tour, like they pass the Gateway Arch going south, and I'm like, oh, my Jeep's still there, perfect. And we keep going south, and we go way the fuck down south somewhere, I don't even know. We turn it, this boat ride is like 3 hours long or something. Then the boat turns around and comes back, and the hilarious thing is where the boat comes back, it's a different dock than the boat, than where you get on the boat. And the dock and the ramp was right in front of my Jeep. Like, I walked down the ramp to get off the boat, and my Jeep was directly across the street, passenger or the driver's side doors facing me. I'm like, oh, perfect. And I get in there, I turn the key, I get in the thing, I start up the Jeep and I leave, and then I could see a meter maid going down the fucking rows, and I'm like, yes! Yes! And I got out of there before I got a ticket or towed or any of that shit. I was out. So it all worked out. So a failure in planning is a plan for failure. I always say, have a plan when you go somewhere, but be ready to throw the plan away. So I had that day, to me, was like a mixture of both. It was, I wish I could show you the photos, but shit's buried and I don't have time to do that and then mix it in with this video. But they will, these things will start to appear now that I have more time to go through this stuff. This photo trip was probably my last one of my, well, no, it wasn't my last, but it was the last photography trip. No, it wasn't even the last photography trip. It was before the COVID scam. And after that, everything in my life just got flipped upside down, along with everybody else. I always say, have a plan, but be willing to throw your plan away if necessary. So I had a plan for my trip, but I got a broken arm, and then I had to throw the plan in the fucking trash and do something else. So I came up with a meticulous plan to get this photograph since I'm there. And it just kind of, the light bulb went in my head, and I'm like, I could do that. I could totally do that. And it gives me something to, like, you know, it gives me something to keep my mind off of. I just broke my fucking arm. And so I go and do it. But I had, my original plan was to go do it, get the pictures, and get the hell out of there before they tow my truck, my Jeep. And I'm like, so I get it done, but I just bought these tickets, and I'm like, my Jeep's gonna be parked there until 3 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon, something like that. I don't even know. I was planning on being out of there at like 10 in the morning and gone and out of St. Louis completely. And my plan was, basically I changed my plan to go down to Kentucky. Well, my plan was to go all the way down to the Smoky Mountains National Park from St. Louis, and then take the roads, the Great Smoky Mountains Parkway, whatever, the Tail of the Dragon, and the Blue Ridge Parkway and Skyline Drive through Shenandoah National Park, and take all of these back windy mountain roads that have no stop signs anywhere. No stop sign at all on the Blue Ridge Parkway. No stop sign on Skyline Drive. It's one continuous drive. Where you end up going into Shenandoah National Park, it stops being the Blue Ridge Parkway. It turns into Skyline Drive, but it's the same road. the road construction and the barriers and some of the things, it looks different, but it's the same concept. You're just driving through the mountains on a non-stop road. There's no stop lines, no stoplights, no traffic, no stop signs. It's a straight drive. It's like 600 miles long. If you combine it with some of the roads in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, you can add another 100 miles. You could go on a 700-mile scenic drive without coming across a stop sign. And so I figured, and you can't, in my Jeep, fourth gear is the biggest gear I'm ever going to use, the whole drive. And my arm was broken and I had a stick shift, and I couldn't shift into fifth and sixth gear. So my mind was like, I did not want to go on the Blue Ridge. I didn't want to go through the mountains because I've done it so many times that it's kind of boring. But it is the kind of place that you can go 100 times and never see everything that there is to see. So I kind of was like, since my arm is broken, that's a good way to drive home, because I can just shift it into third and fourth gear, which I can do. Fifth and sixth gear, I had to take my arm off the steering wheel to get my shifter over because I couldn't move the shifter with my broken arm. And so I'm like, the Blue Ridge Parkway is perfect because once I get there, I can chill and I don't have to use fifth and sixth gear at all for days. For days. And then I'll do the things on the Blue Ridge Parkway that I would normally drive past because it's old people shit. Like go tour this house, this historic home, or go look at this water wheel thing or whatever. Like all the things that I would just drive past to be like, oh, that's for old people. Now I'm doing all the old people shit. So it was the old people Blue Ridge Parkway tour, which is different than the adventurous hiker climbing to the tops of the mountains, going hiking everywhere and all that kind of shit. Blue Ridge Parkway tour. And so it was like a mixture of having a specific plan but throwing the plan away. I had a specific plan in St. Louis. I got the shots, I got the photo that I wanted, but I threw the general plan for the day out the trash when the woman at the ticket counter said, hey, for like $20 more you can do this. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm gonna be here until like, oh well, fuck it, I'll be here until 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. Hopefully I have a vehicle by then. Because I told her, I was like, she was like, you'll be all right. We all just kind of laughed, and I was like, all right, whatever, fuck it. You only live once. And so God did me a solid there. You know, he probably felt bad that I had a broken arm, and he got me out of there before the meter maid came writing out all the tickets. So I was out of there. It was perfect. It was a perfect day. And then the rest of the trip was just a mix of, you know, you might have a plan like, okay, I can get to this spot to take a sunrise photo or a sunset photo. I went to one spot to take a sunrise photo, and it was cloudy, it was overcast, the sun never came up. I sat there and waited, and the sun never came up. But then a couple of hikers showed up, and they went past me on this, because I took like a pretty easy trail to get up to this platform that sticks out from the side of a mountain. And I'm just waiting. Well, these two hikers, this dude and this girl, hike past me, and they go up into the woods, and I'm like, I know what they're going up there for, but they set out a blanket on this big rock above me, way up on the trail. And then they're just chilling on this rock together. And so I felt like a little creep. I felt a little creepy about it because but I do like taking candid photos of people when I travel, like just like if you're on an overlook, for example, on the Blue Ridge Parkway, it's nice to take a photo of the overlook or the scenery. But if you step back and you get a couple of people looking over the overlook, and you get the backs of the people, and they're just enjoying the view, that makes a nice photograph. So I didn't plan this, But the fact that I was there, there's these people chilling up on this rock, and it's a crazy ass view. And like, I got a really good picture of this couple on this rock. They weren't like banging or nothing, but they were just chilling on this rock, and I got one or two really good photos. If I knew who they were, I'd send them the photo. But I never met them in person. I never talked to them. I never like said, hey, I got a good picture of you, and it was just, they were off in the distance. I had a long ass lens. I got a nice shot. And it's in my collection now. There was another situation where I was driving through the mountains in New York in the Catskills, the base of the Catskills near Lake George. And there's a mountain, I forget the name of it. You can drive almost all the way up to the top of it, and then there's a parking lot. And then your choice to go to the very top of the mountain is either take a shuttle bus, like a little shuttle bus that comes by every 20 minutes or so, half hour, or there's a walking trail that you can walk up to the top from there. Well, I'm going up this mountain, and it's a crappy, cloudy, overcast day, just moody. And I was getting some good photos because it was in the fall and the foliage was out. And so I was getting some good fall photos and good colors, and the dark, crummy sky was actually working for me because the bright fall colors contrasted with the dark, stormy looking skies was a nice mix. Well, I'm like, I already paid I'm like, I may as well just go up this mountain and see what's up here. Well, as I get like 3/4 of the way up, it's foggy. And I get to that parking lot at the top of the mountain where you can't drive anymore, and it's foggy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna peace out. I'm not even getting out of my Jeep. Well, just as I said that, the shuttle bus pulls up to the bus stop, and I'm like, I'm probably supposed to go up there. It just seems like Jesus is telling me go up there. So I get out of the Jeep, I get on the shuttle bus, I take the bus to the top of the mountain, I get off the bus. The overlook is this big giant rock, and there's a couple of these, the tourist binoculars that you put your quarters in, and then you can look through the binoculars. But there's nothing to see. It's foggy. It's fog, just white. You see the rock that you're standing on, and you see the binoculars, and then white. Nothing else. You don't see nothing. It's fog. It wasn't so foggy that you couldn't see the binoculars, but you couldn't see 20 feet past the edge of the rock. You couldn't see anything. It was just white. And so I'm like, it's kind of weak. And I was just about to go back and wait for the shuttle bus. 'Cause I took a few pictures of binoculars and the rock, because I had, it's a digital camera. It doesn't cost. It's not like you're wasting film. I wouldn't have taken any pictures if I had a film camera. But digital, whatever. I'm just sitting there chilling. All of a sudden, this group of college kids comes running out of the woods. College-age kids, a few girls and a couple of guys. And they like run across the rock, and they go right up to the binoculars. And then a couple of these fucking dingbat kids put quarters in the binoculars, and they're looking through the fucking binoculars. And I'm like, this is why I'm here. And so I'm taking pictures of these dumbass kids looking through the binoculars that they just put a quarter into to look at nothing. So in the photograph, you see the rock, you see the binocular, and you see people looking through the binocular, and all you see is fog. There's nothing in the background behind them. And I'm like, this is the best picture I'm going to take on this entire trip. And it was by far the best photograph, because so what I used it for on my website, my photography website that I had before I was arrested, if you ever go to a website and you find a page doesn't exist anymore and you get the error message, this page can't be found. If you go to Amazon and you go to a product page that can't be found, they'll show you a picture of someone's dog. They have all of their employees submit pictures of their pets and their dogs and cats, mostly dogs. And if you go to a page not found in Amazon, you get that error. You'll see a picture of somebody's dog, and it's a dog of an employee that works there. And different companies, they'll do different things and to have fun with it. The page not found. So I made that photograph of the mountaintop with the dumbass kids looking through the binoculars at nothing. I made that my page not found error page on my website. So if you landed on that page, or if you went to a page that doesn't exist, or you typed something wrong, it would say, a big headline in the fog would say, "You're not going to find what you're looking for here." and you got these kids looking through the binoculars at nothing. And I'm like, this is perfect for that. As a concept photo, it's perfect. And it was my favorite photo of this 10-day road trip through the Adirondack Mountains. But I was still nursing a broken arm, and it was cold. It actually snowed when I was up there. It was October. So I didn't go on any actual hikes in the Adirondack Park. I stayed around the outside of the Adirondacks. I came up I came up the Hudson River, and then I worked my way over to Saranac Lake and Lake Placid first. And then I went down to Saranac and down the other side, Old Forge and all that, and worked my way back down Lake Ontario that way. Went through the town I grew up in, met my sister for a coffee, and then continued on my way to Pittsburgh. And but I didn't have it in me to go on any big hikes or back to climb to, for example, to climb to the top of Mount Marcy, which is the tallest mountain in the Adirondacks. It's the tallest mountain in New York. It's like a 7-mile hike each way, but you're going up the mountain. That people pretty much say, I've never done it, but people say don't expect to go up and back in a day. You probably can if you're in good shape. It's a 14-mile hike, but it's probably rugged. It's probably more than you would expect in that 14 miles up and down. Coming down from mountains is a pain in the ass too. It's a different pain in the ass. So I didn't have it in me to do backpacking in October and wasn't prepared, and my arm was still kind of beat up. And so I just stuck to the road. But you can't drive in the Adirondacks Park. It's all hiking trails and shit like that. It's not conducive. You can't just drive through it. You can drive around the outside of it, but you can't really go through it. But these are just examples of both of when you meticulously plan something and it goes according to plan, but you also need to plan for failure, but have an like, if you go to take a photo of a sunset and it's cloudy, you're not going to see a sunset. So what do? Are you just going to say fuck it and leave? Or are you going to try and find something else? And sometimes when you try to find something else, you end up getting a way better picture than you would have got if you just got the sunrise or the sunset picture that everybody else takes from the same spot. And so you kind of have to do both. So I don't know, that saying in Star Wars, a failure in planning is a plan for failure, kind of hit me because it's kind of in line with, I always try to have a plan, but I know that things might not go according to plan. Sometimes they do. Sometimes having that plan is the reason why everything worked out, because you made sure that you were in the right place at the right time, etc. And you knew what to expect, and you knew you didn't have to wing it. But then sometimes it's just you don't know what's going to happen. So you just got to be prepared to just throw your plan away and do something else. And you may just have to come up with something else on the fly. And I think that's a good place to end today's video. I wanted to talk about some other things, but we're 45 minutes into this part and whatever, the house tour I gave you. it is what it is, and I'll just come back to it tomorrow. But for now, I'm just gonna say peace out, and we'll talk again.